Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com, and today I have a video for you for the Falling Back to Basics series. We're starting really simple today. Essentially I'm going to do a layout share, and these are all old layouts you guys have probably seen before. I've been filming YouTube videos for so many years now that almost all the layouts that I complete are filmed, so it's hard for me to find things that you guys haven't seen. But I do have this oldie one right here that I probably made back in 2006. I probably made this layout, and you can tell it's very worn out. We got some discoloration over here. It's not even in the correct page protector, nor is it in an album. But today's video, besides layout share, is going to be talking about scrapbooking style basics and layout elements. So essentially we're just going to go over sort of the basics of the scrapbooking layout, what are elements usually on them, and then also scrapbooking style, how to develop your style, that sort of thing, and some example styles I'll have today. So I want to show you guys this one. Now, if you guys remember back in the day, scrapbooking used to be all about rounding corners on your photos, like beautiful, and then using die cut shapes. So stars it was, and you can see my adhesive even spilling out here. I did my journaling in pencil, which I think is hilarious. But these are some really old photos, and I thought this would be a really funny one to share with you guys. It's a really great idea. I think it's interesting that the stripes are blue and white instead of red and white, but I don't know what I was thinking in terms of that. But I like how it turned out. I'm going to keep it. I just think it's really, really funny to see how things change over time. So this is probably one of the first 12 by 12 layouts I ever made. I spelled George wrong. Gorge. Funny. Like I said, I wasn't that old when I made this. It was probably shortly after, actually, in these pictures that I would have scrapbooked them. But I think it's so funny to look back at these, and I'm sure you guys probably have some like this. And I don't feel the need to go back and redo them. I think they're even cuter, even if it says George Washington. I think it's really funny to see these sort of memories, because it's two memories. It's the memory of me making the layout like this, and the memory in the actual photos. So I think that's important to realize too, that if you do want to go back and remake layouts, are you replacing a memory of making that layout, you know, that time that you were making that layout? But this was the first one, and I'm going to actually start with another one for talking about scrapbooking basics. So what is on a scrapbooking page? Typically a scrapbooking page contains a photo, like on this one. Usually contains journaling, a title, something that tells the story. It could be just a title. It could be journaling, like handwritten, typed out. It could be something like that. It could also be elements that tell the story. So in this case, these flowers help tell the story. This bird ephemera helps tell the story. It gives you that outdoor feel because of the green paper. There's lots of things I could say that help tell the story of this hummingbird at the Hummingbird Theater. But those are just some examples. So if we take a look at another one. Like this one has a sticky note on it because I still need to do journaling. But you can see here, these photos themselves are sort of in like a film reel. So like these happen sequentially after each other. And so the photos tell a story on its own, but we added some other things here. So here's my title, You Are an Explorer. They kind of promote that within themselves. But then we add some other things. So there's these emblems that inspire camping, mountains, fire, trees, you know, outdoorsy things. And then there's this that says, if you're not a happy camper, then take a hike. You know, cute things like that really help tell the story without adding a lot of, without having to even add journaling. So if you find that you're scrapbooking photos that don't have stories, and by stories I mean like immense stories, like tons of journaling, you don't have to put journaling on your layout. I know a lot of people believe that they have to put journaling on every layout, but I don't think that's true. It's nice to know the date, for example. Like this one, I have a sticky note on to put the date and the location. But I don't think you need a full-fledged story on every layout. But also know that there are no rules when it comes to scrapbooking, guys. You can do anything your little heart desires. You could just put no photos on a page. The typical elements on a page are photos, journaling, and some pretty stuff. But you don't need any of that. Although I don't know how you'd make a page without anything. So there's a challenge for you. But I know a lot of people do no photo pages. I know a lot of people who do no journaling on their pages. And it depends what you consider journaling. A lot of people consider journaling telling the story of the photos. Some people consider journaling the date and place and time and who's in the photos. I know back in the day that's all you had to put was who, what, when, where, why. And sometimes the why was just left out. Now the why is the real driver for a lot of our pages, is the why. So when you're going through your pages, as you can tell, I don't think I've shown you guys a single layout so far that has journaling on it. But that's just how I am. I love writing, but I don't love writing about my own life, if that makes any sense. So for this one, for this example, my boyfriend fell asleep. I don't think there's a story with it, but I really, really love this layout. And if you guys remember the process video for this one was one of my absolute favorites. And I will not have all the process videos linked down below, only because there are so many. But if you really want to find a process video, I recommend searching by the title on the page. So this one you could search Smile on my channel and hopefully it'll come up. But there's a lot of layouts and I can't go through all of them. So this one's a little bit washed out, but there is mixed media in the background. And I think when it comes to layouts, as you can tell so far, these could look like they're from two completely different styles. They barely fit on screen, but the right one's more clean and simple. This one's a little busier. I love both, and that's okay. The main point of this video is saying everything you do is okay. There are no rules. There are no requirements. There are no judgments. Scrapbooking is whatever you want it to be. And even though people will judge you if you don't have journaling, you shouldn't feel judged because it's your memories. You can do with them what you wish. Some people only put photos in albums. You know, those pre-cut out 4x6 photos. You just slide them in, slide them in, slide them in sequential order. And another thing we could talk about, your pages don't have to be in order. Your albums don't have to be year by year. They could be by topic. I know there's a lot of different videos out there about explaining how people organize their albums, and I find it very interesting. I would say that mine are currently organized by year, but within the album itself, it's not organized by date, because a lot of my layouts don't have dates, and if they do, I scrapbook them out of date, so it's very hard for me to put them away by date, if that makes sense. So instead, I just put them in the album they belong in and call it a day. This one's a little busier. As you can tell, I did some scattering. But let's start talking about style. Now, let's do this again. Let's do a comparison again. These are two vastly different layouts. Similar color scheme, we got blues, we got pinks. This is more pastel and deep tones, whereas this one's more bright and colorful, but these look like they're from different people. Like if these two were on design teams, I'd assume they're different scrapbookers. And let me tell you guys, you can do whatever you want. You can do this kind of different stuff. If you don't like mixed media, you don't have to buy it and do it. If you do like mixed media, I'm a person who likes to mix and match their supplies and styles to create something that matches the story. You can do that. And I think a lot of people are hesitant to stop using supplies they don't love. So you hold on to the mixed media, even though if you don't love it, you just hold on to it. You don't need to hold on to it. You should re-gift it if you know you're not going to use it. And there's always that feeling that you could use it someday. And I think that people do hold on to those things. I hold on to things that I think I could use someday, especially themed items. Like if I had a washi tape that was summer themed, one day I might be able to use that on a layout. But if it's a color scheme that I rarely use, like lime green and yellow, I should really just give it up and either gift it to someone that I know will love it or donate it to a school. There's no reason we can't get rid of supplies that frustrate us. In fact, we should get rid of supplies that frustrate us, because there's no need to have that frustration in your craft room of seeing things that you know you don't want to use and not using them. It's more frustrating to see them and not use them than to get rid of them and not think about them ever again. Another layout, I think these are all wildly different. And I know I'm showing a lot of one-page layouts. I used to do a ton of one-page layouts, but I wanted to show some older ones that weren't in albums yet, because the albums would have given a glare off. But as you can tell here, these again look like different scrapbookers in my opinion. Wildly different. They both have some mixed media elements. This one has some stenciling in the background. This one was a process. I really loved making this layout though. But you can tell they're wildly different. And these could go next to each other in a scrapbook album if they're in the same year or however you organize them. At least they're the same person. But I think that people get hung up on the fact that their albums start looking vastly different if they don't use the same collection, if they don't use the same color scheme, if their style changes throughout the year. But that's how it should be. It should be changing. If it's not changing, maybe you're not having as much fun as you used to by doing changing. But if you like what you do, you don't have to change. It's really, really, really all personal habits that you are developing in this hobby. And that's it though, it's just your hobby. It's not someone else's hobby. So make sure that you are making sure that you're loving what you're doing. Did I really put that there? I remember making this layout and it was vastly different than anything else I'd been making. It's very old school. It's got some like 90s paper, some 90s die cuts, some ribbon tape. No one uses that anymore. And it's just got some wild colors on it. This was totally outside my comfort zone. And this is back when, you know, birthday photos were just so awkward. I don't look happy in these, but I still wanted to make it a happy page. So I think that even just through these examples, I'm realizing that, one, my scrapbooking style is all over the place, and that's okay. You don't have to have a defined scrapbooking style. You just have to scrapbook what you love. And if that's just your memories and whatever brings of them, that's great. This was one of my all-time favorite layouts I ever made. I think I made this in 2017. Maybe 2018. Gosh, it's been so long since I made this. But this is a 5-photo layout. I think it reminds me of the old days of scrapbooking when you used to be able to put 5 photos on a layout. People don't really do that anymore, and you don't have to always follow the trends. I really love this layout. I would love to do this again with a different subject or a different, you know, theme. But I think it's really important that you understand what you love, not just what everyone else loves. So again, this doesn't follow a ton of the new trends of mixed media or, you know, ripping paper, or I don't know, it even has a faux flower on it. Like, who uses those anymore? Some people do. It really is up to you. But don't let the trends dictate what you have to put on layouts. And I know that's hard, especially when it comes to buying new supplies. But if you're anything like me, you probably already own supplies that could work. I did pull in a pocket page here. This is a Christmas one. Pocket pages used to be all the rage. If you guys remember, Project Life was this huge thing. To be honest, I don't know how many people still do Project Life. I've never done Project Life, but I really, really enjoy the pocket page style. And if you haven't tried something yet, so even though pocket page style scrapbooking seems to be filtering out faster than it should and going more of a digital route, don't be afraid to give it a try. Just because people are, you know, shying away from it now doesn't mean you can't pick it up now. And I think that we often get caught up in trends, like the mixed media. The mixed media trend took off like no other. That was a really cool thing to see happen in the scrapbooking world. I joined onto it. A lot of people joined onto it. But it's a messy process. Some people don't like getting messy. They just want their paper and their embellishments and no paints or splatters or anything. And that's perfectly fine. This is one of those layouts that reminds me of olden times again. I probably made this in 2017. But guys, I'm just guessing. I have no idea when they made this. But we have the doodles around all of the borders. We have some really old font from Thickers. We have felt pieces. Who remembers using those on pages? And I have some really, really old papers in here as well. So some K & Company. I can't remember who makes this one. I think it's KI Memories. But I really love this layout, and it just reminds me of older times. And I don't know if it's because I'm scrapbooking photos that are older. This one's from 2015 in an older style, so it matches that era of scrapbooking. But I think that kind of just is what's happening. This is a 2018 layout, and I really, really love how this one turned out as well. But it still gives me some of those new edge vibes. So this one has the sequins on it. Sequins became pretty popular on scrapbooking pages in the last couple of years. It also has this thread thing. Do you guys remember when people used to put threads all over their layouts? I fell for that trend for a little bit, and now I'm not so much in love with it. And that's another thing. Trends sometimes dictate towards some subjects over others. So like thread could be used on some vintage layouts, but it might not look great on your daughter's birthday layouts. It depends on your taste and your style and what you're scrapbooking and the theme of it. Oh gosh, there's just so many beautiful layouts out there, guys. And I know a lot of you have seen all of these already, because there are probably at least blog posts or videos of them somewhere on my channel or blog. So I apologize if they're not new. This isn't a new layout share, but I really, really think that we sometimes need to take a step back, look through some of our layouts, look through some of our albums, because we don't do that very often, in my opinion. Scrapbookers never go back to look at their albums. They have to keep going, you know, they want to keep making memories and documenting them. And we often forget to go look at the ones we've previously documented to get inspiration, to remind ourselves why we're doing this. You know, sit down with your family or your friends and share some pages with them. I know that if I make a picture with a friend, I'll usually send it to them, send them a photo of it if I'm not in the same area, just so they can see it and know that they're important to me, because I don't think people understand sometimes what scrapbooking really is. It is a catalog of your life. And you get to make the magazine, you get to put the words in it, you get to put the pictures in it, you get to do everything for it. This is your catalog of everything that's happened in your life. Which is crazy to think about, because now that sort of Facebook and Instagram sort of take that precedent for a lot of people. It's like they're the new catalogs. But I think that this is still very important, because a lot of things aren't digitally documented before the digital times. There are hundreds and thousands of photos probably from your family or from your friends that will never see the light of day again. They'll just sit in boxes, they'll sit in albums. But we need to take the time to go through them, to go look at them, even if it's just flipping through the photos, just recognizing that those stories are there and picking out the ones that we want to highlight. Like this one, it seemed silly at the time, but when I was moving out of college, I knew that I wanted photos of these moments. I wanted photos of the keys. I wanted photos of me dropping off the keys. I wanted to remember the last moments of my college career, because this was it. And it seems silly to a lot of people probably, like, why is she taking pictures of her keys? It's just keys. But wouldn't you like to remember what your house key looked like from when you were a child? Or when you were in college? Wouldn't that be miraculous to be able to tell someone, if of course you don't still own it, but imagine if I could put the key right here. That'd be pretty powerful, I think, for someone. Really love this layout though, guys. One of my favorites, probably from 2016. This is when I took my own handwriting. I made templates, did my own handwriting, and then stitched it. So that's exactly how I write final moments with a pencil. I have a video on that I really, really love. If you guys want more videos like that, let me know in the comments down below. We are almost to the end of my pile here, and I didn't really outline this full video on paper because I knew I wanted to sort of go at it sort of free form. But just remember that there's no rules. Don't judge yourself too hard. Every scrapbooking page is different, every scrapbooker is different, every memory is different, therefore every page should be different. But if they all look the same, that's fine, because the photos are always different. Although if you're scrapbooking the same photo 100 times, you'll probably get bored of it, so I hope you're scrapbooking different photos. And don't forget that your style will change. These layouts that I just shared with you are all from the same-ish time period. And I think these are pretty vastly different. This one on the left, very mixed media heavy. This one on the right, clean and simple in my opinion. I do have some stamping, but other than that, I think this is pretty different. And it's okay, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with being different once in a while. There's nothing wrong with being the same once in a while. I need to re-glue this one down. This is your life, your way to catalog it, or it's your children's life if you're also doing their scrapbooks. In my case, I'm just doing my own at this moment, but this is yours. Make it what you wish of it. And in the rest of the series, we'll be going over different design ideas that I have to make layouts easier for you guys. If you're all about putting the stories on the pages as fast as you can because you have so many, that's fine. I'm going to share a bunch of different ideas with you guys about different layout styles. But if you're a person that likes the process of designing and thinking and putting a layout together to be this cohesive snapshot of your life, it's not just the photo anymore, it's the whole layout that really depicts your life, because you made the layout and you took the photo or got the photo. This is part of your life, and now this is part of your life. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense and not just babbling on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this quick layout share and video. Again, this is just scratching the surface of what we're going to talk about and kind of getting us in that mindset for finding our style, finding our scrapbooking wishes, you know, thinking about the end game of scrapbooking. What do we want at the end of all of this? And I'm going to make a printable over on my Patreon that goes along with this video kind of corresponds with that. What do we want out of scrapbooking? So if you're interested in that, go check it out down below. And that will be up in a few days after this video goes live, so you have some time to digest and think about it. But I think that just remember that this is yours. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Just put your heart on the paper and it'll be fine. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Falling Back to Basics series. I know this is a lot of words and not a lot of text or things happening, but I shared some fun layouts with you guys, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please leave me a comment down below what you think about this idea that since we change over time, our scrapbook layouts now become part of the story. So I think sometimes we scrapbook from the story here when we also have a story where we are right now in life when we're scrapbooking this photo. So it's a fun concept to think about. It's a little bit mind-boggling, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!